Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me. Claire Yosa here, and I got to hang out all weekend with some of my all-time heroes of the entrepreneurial online world. I'm going to be doing a live stream every day this week and possibly next week, taking you through the key points and takeaways I had from each of those presentations. So if you want to make a bigger difference in the world, whether it's through your business, through someone else's business, or through a campaign you're running, make sure you pop back here midday each day, and we're going to continue the discussion afterwards in my Dare to Dream Bigger Facebook group. The link will be below this video. So, John Lee Dumas, founder of Entrepreneur on Fire, a daily podcast where he interviews some of the most successful and passionate people on the planet, finds out how they did it, and also how they handled things when it went wrong. John Lee Dumas keeps it real. It was so good to get to see him live. You know, when you're on the other side of a computer screen like we are now, it's not as cool as when we're in a workshop or a mastermind together. Seeing him on stage, he's got such a passionate energy. One of the things that struck me most was when he first had his idea for Entrepreneur on Fire. Podcasting was still fairly new, and he had people he looked up to and respected in his mastermind, even mentoring positions, who told him daily podcast, that deep dive, not a chance. And John's message was, when enough people are telling you it's impossible and it shouldn't be done, it probably means it's a great idea. So go and do it. And that's what he did. And now he gets, what, million listeners a month? So I think he can prove it was successful. So I'm going to take you through a tour of some of the most important things that John Lee Dumas from Entrepreneur on Fire shared with us this weekend. So the first one, he said when he's networking, he doesn't say, "Hi, my name's John. Who are you? Great to meet you, Claire. What do you do?" He likes to start a conversation. So he will ask people, what was your defining moment? And I invite you to play with this right now. What is your defining moment? What is the moment that has really turned things around for you? Now, I'm going to share with you a very personal one that came up for me when he asked us this on Saturday. And it was actually when my third son was born. He was planned to be a home birth, but there was meant to be a midwife there and she didn't show up. And I was absolutely terrified because I didn't realize he had his elbow sticking out. So it kind of hurt. And when I was going through that, I realized that what was causing most of the pain was the stories I was telling myself. That's what was creating the fear. The fear was intensifying the physical pain. We do that so often in life. The same thing can happen to two different people. One of them falls apart. One of them can handle it because of the stories we tell ourselves. So that was a really defining moment for me. And it also made me realize I'm so much stronger than I knew. I got through something that I was so terrified of. The stories meant it was so painful. I didn't think I could do it. And then I did. But it taught me a third thing. My midwife arrived a minute after my son was born and he was going blue. I didn't know I'd already delivered the placenta. She showed up, turned him upside down, rubbed his face, and he breathed. So it showed me I was supported. And if I just trust, somebody somewhere orchestrated the right person showing up at the right time. So those were three important life lessons from my defining moment. Was realizing it's the stories in my head that cause the pain. Realizing I'm so much stronger and braver and more courageous than I thought I was. And realizing if I trust and let people in, I'm actually supported. And I'd love to hear from you via the comments. It's great to see people joining us here live. Hello, Christina. Hello, Valentino. And over in the Dare to Dream Bigger Facebook group afterwards, what is your defining moment? And how is that shaping the choices you're making about daring to dream bigger and making a bigger difference in the world? So that was just John's preamble. Frankly, I'd have been happy if that's all we'd done, yeah? So he then took us through his fire funnel. Now, this is proprietary to John, so I'm not going to give that to you because I haven't had a chance to ask him for his permission. I will ask him if it's okay with him. I'll share it in a future broadcast. But in this one, what I'm going to do is share with you some of the important bits that he pointed out. Now, I was really, really pleased how much of what he was teaching us as his proprietary solution was already in Dare to Dream Bigger. You know when you publish a book on how to grow a business and then you get a presentation from somebody who's grown an incredible business and they tell you what you've been telling people, it's always a relief. So here is what, if you've got Dare to Dream Bigger, you can start applying what John Lee Dumas does today. So he said something that's really important for us entrepreneurs who love shiny object syndrome. You know, you see something on Facebook, maybe an advert, you think, I could run that course, I could run that mastermind, I could launch that product. And so we go off on a tangent and do it, yeah? He said, this is my notes. I've got so many pages of these notes from the weekend. Not every problem should be solved by you. Just because you can solve it, it doesn't mean you should. Okay? So just because you can solve a problem, it doesn't mean you should. Now, Nancy Marmolejo, who is a friend of mine and someone I've worked with, she's been my mentor as well. She talks about deep genius. Gay Hendricks talks about zone of genius. So what John Lee Dumas is telling us in that is forget the distractions. Look at where your core genius is, the stuff that only you can deliver, and focus on that. Don't allow yourself to get distracted by the stuff that you could do well, and that will free up your time to work on the stuff that you can do brilliantly. So if that's ever resonated for you, I would love to hear from you. Do you ever get distracted by stuff problems you could solve rather than focusing on your core genius? Do you ever find comparisonitis leads you off track on social media? Let me know by the comments, and if you're watching this as a replay, let me know in the Dare to Dream Bigger Facebook group. So something else he said is niche. Okay, we all know we're meant to niche. For my American friends, niche. Oh, I can't say that. Niche. So in Dare to Dream Bigger, I call this your dream audience. Yeah, and there's exercises in the Dare to Dream Bigger handbook to take you through how to identify your dream audience, the person that you would love to clone, your dream client. Yeah, not the C-grade clients where you think, oh God, it's them again. Not even the B clients where it's like, yeah, okay, that was fine. But the ones where you think, working with whoever it was just rocked my world. When you get your niche, and a lot of people talk about this, an inch wide and a mile deep, you can own that niche. Yeah. In Dare to Dream Bigger, if you've got the book, step 3 is credibility. This is all about how to be the go-to expert in your field. And to be able to be the go-to expert, unless you have Oprah's marketing budget, you need to go narrow and deep. Then you can go wider. Then you can go wider. But one of the biggest mistakes I hear passionate world changers making over and over again, and I've made it too, when I say, who do you help? Oh, everyone. Wow. Are you like God or something? Can you imagine how much energy it takes to help everyone? So I was writing a newsletter this morning for my fantastic email subscribers about this weekend and letting them know I was going to do this live stream. And sometimes, because I have people coming in from so many different directions on my newsletter, they might be into meditation, they might be into growing a business, they might be buying my new novel, You Take Yourself With You. Sometimes it's really hard to write an email that's going to work for all those people. Yeah, and normally I don't write just a general email, I segment. I write to that one person for that particular aspect of my business. The more you understand the one person you're writing for, doing your video for, doing your workshop for, making your widget for, the more it's going to resonate. And so many of us are scared, oh, if I niche, I'm not going to make any money. But the crazy thing is, and let me know via the comments if this has ever happened for you, if you niche, you'll make more money because people will see you as the go-to expert for that thing. So one of my friends, I'm going to give a shout out to Dipti Tate, who comes from Cirencester, which is where I used to live. She's a hypnotherapist, and her niche for hypnotherapy is grief. because of the experiences she's been through. She's already getting a reputation, even in the media, and I'm talking mainstream newspapers, TV, for being the go-to person for anything to do with grief. If she'd just stuck with hypnotherapy, that's a pretty big field to have to fight to stand out in. Hypnotherapy for grief, I can't remember the figure. I'm sure I read that she's tripled her practice in the last few months by niching. So that was a huge message from John Lee Dumas, is really know who you're doing your creating for. Focus on them. Don't let yourself get distracted. Serve them. And they will be magnetized to you. And they will rave to those in their network about you, because you are the go-to person for your message for that kind of niche. So, other stuff that was important. Consistency. So we all do this, you know. I've been doing it lately. The Dare to Dream Bigger podcast hasn't been out for a while because I've been too busy editing this little beauty. Final edits for you to take yourself with you are going through today, so it can be typeset on Wednesday and get to the printer on Thursday. So I've been inconsistent, and I know when I go back to my podcast, it's going to take some effort to get it going again. We might blog every week for a few weeks and then quit. So consistency is important for two reasons. One is we talk about in Dare to Dream Bigger. If you've got the hardback, it's on page. Where has it gone? How my favorite Sanskrit word helps you grow your business. Okay. There you go. Page 283. My favorite Sanskrit word is abhyasa. ABHYASA, and it loosely translates from the meditation world of keeping going even when you're not in the mood. We all know that feeling, yeah? When you want to create change, when you want to create a movement, when you want to grow something, keeping going when you're excited is easy. But if you allow that flame to fizzle out, restarting it takes a lot of effort. We then have inertia. You know, my engineering background, it's the difference between static friction and dynamic friction. It takes a lot more effort to move something that's stationary than to move something that's already moving. So abhyasa, keeping going when you're not in the mood, that commitment to show up at the same time, at the same place every week. The second benefit is it gets your audience expecting to see you, to hear from you. You become part of their routine, part of their life. Yeah, it might be you publish something on YouTube at 9 a.m. every Wednesday. Yeah, then you become like a TV show. They expect you. In their head, yeah, Claire's going to publish such and such on Wednesday. I must make sure I go and watch it. That consistency, regularity, you can choose it. Yeah, whatever suits your target audience. Consistency is the key to making progress, and then not allowing yourself to be distracted by shiny object syndrome. So that goes back to his first point of just because you can solve a problem doesn't mean you have to. How are you finding this so far? Is it useful? Have you got any questions on these topics? Anything you want to know whether John covered? Let me know via the questions. If you're on the replay, let me know via the comments in the Dare to Dream Bigger Facebook group. I'd love to hear from you. So a few other things that John said is talk to your audience, okay? Not talk at them, but actually pick people to have conversations with. Now, I'm going to be doing one of these live streams every day this week and some of next week. This was a theme that came up over and over and over again, okay? Get on a Skype call with a random person off your email list. I know that feels terrifying. So many of us entrepreneurs are secret introverts, and we don't like necessarily connecting with strangers without invitation. But you know what? If somebody's not into it, they'll say no. And most of the time, it's a way of helping that person feel as important as they are. Get in there and ask them, what's working for you out of what I'm doing? What's not? What could I do differently? What's working well in your life at the moment? What are you struggling with? How could I help you? This is not a discovery call. This is not a sales pitch. This is you listening without judgment to the experience your ideal customer is having of you, to you learning about their journey, so that you can really get there and meet their needs. You can resonate with them. I used to be head of market research at Dyson. You can use the language they're using when you want to communicate with them in your newsletters, on your web posts, in your videos. Connect and engage with your dream audience and really give them the benefit of your full attention, and it will pay dividends. So something else that he said was, a couple of last things. He's really into repurposing. And it makes so much sense. And we all think, I should do that. But you think about it, this video, for example, could become a video podcast. It could become a transcript and get edited up a bit and become an ebook. It could have quotes taken out of it to go on Instagram, Facebook. It could have quotes going on Twitter. I could have it as a blog post on my website. I'm going to be having it as a discussion thread in my private Facebook group. The more you repurpose, the more value you're getting from the effort you're putting into creating your content. And the more value you get from it, the more you can help people reach it in the way they want to, the more people are going to want to come back and connect with you. So Chris Ducker made a really valuable point on the same theme, is not everybody will listen to a podcast. Not everybody's into YouTube videos. Not everybody likes reading articles. But if you bring those three elements together, you will reach a much wider audience. And if you're lined up in your niche and you've established yourself as the go-to expert and you're really connecting with people and only solving the problems that only you can solve, the larger your audience, the bigger your tribe will grow and the more people you're going to be able to serve. So the last few things before I wrap up. I'd like to finish with a quote that John shared with us from Albert Einstein. Don't try to become a person of success. Become a person of value. So often, particularly in the Facebook world, we see those adverts in our news stream of have a 7-figure month next month, have a 27-figure year next year. That's chasing success. People can smell that. When our motivation is for us, and how successful we can be and how people will look up to us and how we can then run those adverts, it's going to make the job much harder. Instead, if you seek to add value, if you seek to become important in the life of your dream audience, if you do what's needed to become somebody's favorite, that success will follow because you'll have got to make a difference in their life. So I hope you found that useful. Let me know if you've got any questions. I'm going to pop over the Dare to Dream Bigger Facebook group now. If you're not a member yet, just search Dare to Dream Bigger in the Facebook search bar and click join group when you get there, and I'll let you in as soon as I can. I hope you found this useful. I'm going to be back tomorrow talking about the second person who presented at the Youpreneur Summit, and a big shout out to John Lee Dumas. It was so lovely to get to meet you. What you said was inspirational. A lot of it we knew, it's common sense, but you put a slant on it that helped us really get it. This guy's the real deal. If you don't know him already, go and check out the Entrepreneur on Fire podcast. If you found this video useful, please share it with your friends, maybe tag them in the comments, share it in any business entrepreneurial groups you're in, and I will see you over in the Dare to Dream Bigger Facebook group and back here at midday tomorrow.